Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's good to be back. It is midweek here, March 25th. And Luke, we have so much to unpack from this weekend. This is a side-by-side cast. We're not going to throw anybody under the bus. I'm just going to introduce this off the top. Uh, Felice, Elijah's on the IR. He might be pulling a Mark Stone, and we might have put him on the IR for cap related reasons, and he'll be coming back in for the playoffs. So he's a clutch guy on the tools, and we'll need him come playoff time. That's for sure. Might have had an insider that last minute canceled. Uh, Priorities for insiders. Insiders got a lot going on. That's okay. We'll have to mush that insider later. Though it is good to be back with you, Luke. We're going to be running side by side here. If this was a vehicle, this ain't a truck cast. This is a side by side, hilarious UTV, utility vehicle cast. So, any players dealer out there, if you want to sponsor the pod, would love to get one of those to get out on the ice on tracks. That would be the ask. We gotta get a Polaris on tracks side by side. Luke, so much from the weekend, but what's been going on lately before we
Yeah,
dive?
great to be side by side with you in the Polaris. But yeah, it's been quite a busy weekend. Me and Felice were out on a trip, and we'll get to it later and more in depth. But
Ooh,
quite the weekend. And just kind of starting up this week. We started off right by hitting up the simulator, and the boys had a legendary night. Let me tell you.
yeah,
So
legendary night. Like the Jets should have been focusing on getting to the simulator and to the golf course the same night, but they were doing uh atypical things. Let's leave it at that. But okay, like what's a legendary night on the simulator? Like what are we talking about an over under score
yeah,
typically?
So the boys, they're usually hitting like double bogeys, triple bogeys, maybe even like the double par feature shows up and it kind of just kicks you
Ooh,
out of the round. Like just move
yeah.
on to the next hole, like you're not good enough. But uh that night we got the 2 hour tea time and we started it up hot and we had five pars through the first seven holes.
Are you kidding me?
I dunked a 20-yard chip straight in the hole. We had a 70-foot putt that went to 1 foot of the hole, just like dialed in. The short game was just buzzing. Um, had to take a picture of the scores by the end. We got through 13 holes, and I believe we shot +6 through 13. So it was unreal night from the boys, and we were buzzing.
And that just feels good going to bed, knowing that you had a good days and evenings work. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
we had those 2 hours, but we were on such a heater. We had to get the extra hour just to keep rolling. So the
And
bus
you
kept
have
moving.
to. You have to do
Yeah.
that. If that opportunity presents itself, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Speaking from simulator experience myself, you had thrown this before, and I had kind of thought like I needed to do that, and I just got like through report season, and so I kind of had to have a little carrot to dangle for at the end of that. So I actually had an hour booked with my snowmobile ice fishing buddy from prior pod, Super Dave, um, Mr. Province Wide, or Mr. Province Wild. Sometimes our shots go wild, and I'll call him on that one. That's okay. With Dave, we like to get a good walk in when we go down to Maplewood and St. Pierre. Some content might come out this summer. We don't know yet, though. We like to get a really good walk in and see the whole course. You know what I'm saying, Luke? Like you pay to
Yeah.
play. And
Yeah.
so you pay to play. You gotta go to the right, to the left, back to the right. Sometimes you might end up by some waters. So
Yeah.
sound like you guys paid to actually play and get a bunch of not double par. Like we might have had some of those when we did the hour.
Yeah. Respect to that because usually we're kind of east-west golfers as well, but we're playing a little more
Going
north-south.
south.
So we were kind of dialed in there, but usually we're on that
Oh,
east-west side as well.
oh, I love to hear it for the boys. I love to hear it, and when that's going good, uh, you know that a pod is gonna be buzzing the next day. That's just like the primer setup, right? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, going side by side here, it feels like we could be in a player side by side, or could be in a golf cart. It feels very connected right now. So, Luke, we're gonna talk. Uh, you know what? I think I might have to release like a little bit of event because you can see it for you audio listeners in the dark cave back here. That is the man cave. The bags are packed up. Hockey bags are packed up for the Ryan household. So yeah, seasons are done. It's a heartbreaker for my daughters. Uh, it was an absolute run for them as a team, and just felt like you don't want that to end when you got a good thing going. And so that was something where it was bittersweet when it came to an end. But to see them and their team, it was some of the closest knit connections that I've seen for my kids, and I can't wait to see what like the future has for their team. And so that was fun. My boy was digging in net for his last game for his team, and yeah, it's tough when you're playing like U9 and there's half ice. There's a lot more chances. Luke, you could probably if you would shrink the ice and how many more chances because you got Captain Digger on your team and he can shoot it from half. So just like thinking about that, how many more opportunities, and I can't control how many goals go in, but I can control on the book when I'm writing it down how many shots go near my son, and I give him a little bit more shots, and then the goals against that I have to keep track of for save percentage for the stats. So you know what? That'll take a break. That's okay. That's okay. Um,
Yeah. That'd be a busy night on the stat sheet with the half ice just going back and forth and back and
yeah,
forth.
yeah. The
You had your
statistician,
hands full there.
I could only do the one side. I wasn't keeping track besides how many goals were scored for our team on the other, and our team's really developing this year. I can't wait to see what when the boys age up, how they're going to be buzzing next year because we're going to have a solid core. I think we got like we're not talking like the core for the Maple Leafs with my son's team. It's like we're not talking Nylander, Matthews, Tavares, and that Mitchie Marner kid that decided to leave. Like I think we got like a core nine going forward next year, so it's gonna be really fun at the local
Yeah.
community center. So
Bunch of
yeah,
dogs out there.
yeah. No, oh, and well, you were at the simulator. You gave me the invite. I felt honored, and now I feel like I probably should have done that because I got mushed yesterday playing a Tuesday night. Uh, I'm not gonna throw the boys under the bus, but we had the idea to do sticks in the middle. Um, and so sticks in the middle kind of is just random teams, right? And sometimes we would do random series with the group. It's always light jerseys versus dark. And so all of a sudden, right before game time, a guy from the other dressing room comes in and he says, "So if you take your coffee with cream, guess what color you're wearing? If you take your coffee black, guess what color you're wearing?" And I'm like, "Luke, how do you take coffee? You're not a coffee guy.
Not a coffee guy,
If
more of a
you
tea
if you
drinker.
had to take a coffee, you're probably doing what? Cream and sugar."
Probably tossing the cream in there. Yeah. A little bit of sugar, sweeten it up.
Yeah, so I felt kind of mixed. I didn't know what to do. When I have iced coffee, it's got cream in it. When it's a good cuppa, when it's a good cuppa and steaming, that's just straight up. So I go out with New Jersey. I get dubbed Mr. Dress Up because I dressed up as Leon Draisaitl like last month, and so the guys call me Mr. Dress Up. And it was me and another guy. This reminds me. This is going to be a little bit of a story, so buckle up. Um, one of my good buddies, Braden, uh, he just came back from Austria, and so he actually went to an Austrian Euro. Ice Champion League, I believe is what they call it over there in Austria. And so he came back with the threads, Luke. I forgot to tell you about this whole story that he told me yesterday. So we in the Shell EA Sports lands, me, Luke, and the other guys in our fantasy league, uh, we always dabble in these like other teams. You press randoms and then you get a couple different leagues. And so
Yeah.
you remember, Luke, when we ended up with a Bulldogs team where it
Yeah.
had, was it Malcolm Subban in net? Or was it Jordan Subban on defense? Are you remembering this or am I completely?
Yeah. I think we had Jordan Subban on the back
Yeah, I
end.
think it was Jordan Subban. And I think I forget what position he played, but it was like we found a Subban brother and he was playing in one of these like leagues across the pond. And this was kind of like a little bit of a fun side quest that you found a guy that you had some connection with all these random guys. So this is the same league that we played in NHL EA Sports. So we went to the game and they're called. So he went to Linz, and that's the city. But the way that the teams work there, he was telling me all this kind of stuff, is that they actually are owned by a company, and they're owned by a company called Steinbach. And so for those of us in the 204 lands, Steinbach,
Yeah.
uh, it's on license plates here in the 204. It says it's worth the trip because you go down there to get your automotive vehicle on a good deal because the Mennonites like deals, right? So
That's where I got mine.
did you?
Yeah.
That's
We
awesome.
had to get the deal as a fellow Mennonite.
So on my buddy Braden's jersey, it's sponsored by Steinbach, which is an actual pool company. Like they actually, I don't know if it's like they build pools. I didn't do the AI overview before the pod, but it says Steinbach and then it says Black Wings. And so he's coming in
Oh,
with these threads and he's got 27 on the back. And I'm like, that number has been buzzing as of late, especially with us, Luke. Like, that was the number that we had to go see when he came back to the 204 lands. Our Prince Nicky Ehlers, who's now he's trying to become a king and champion out on the coast. Though he has 27, then he has this jersey. And it's got like this blue teal to it, Luke. And he has have you heard of No Name Stick? No
yeah.
Name Stick brand? So he
Yeah.
has No Name Stick brand and he bought two of them. And him and his brother apparently did a little bit of a deal and you get like it a little cheaper. The jersey that he has matched the No Name Stick. And I was
Oh,
like, I can't compete with this. Like, this is Mr.
yeah.
Dress Up, like, belt material. Like, give him the belt. I'm done. Like,
The threads and the twig matching, like that's just an unreal combo.
yeah. So all I had was a jersey that I'm not going to drop yet because it's actually going to be more connected with the playoffs and the World Championship puck talk that's coming up. Not best on best, but like maybe second best on second best, which is still fun to watch when yeah, I got the Jets threads in the background, and I've heard so many people talking that they're going to be yeah, and Luke's got it. He's got the 55. And he's Luke, I didn't even see the Canada one back there. That would be more of the threads that are rocking at the World Championship.
Yeah.
Love it. For you
Might see
audio listeners.
Marky Mark in the Team Canada, so we'll see.
Yeah, we might see Marky Mark in the Team Canada. He did it last year. Might have to.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And for the audio listeners, we're talking about the Canada jersey that is not the Olympic silver medal uh losing jersey. That's the one with the player in it that's iconic. That goes back to the world junior key memories that I have with that jersey. Though long story short, Luke, you hung into this one. I didn't expect to go on this side quest, so this is kind of fun, and I look forward to dropping this for my Tuesday night buddies. Though they put in the chat after the game with both of our jerseys side by side, and they did a poll of who wore it better, and like I got one sympathy vote from Braden. Otherwise, it was a clean sweep. Like, how do you even compare with that? It was the Steinbach Black Wings, and it had sponsored by Bauer, made in Canada was on the collar. I was just like,
Wow.
uh,
Doesn't get better than that.
yeah. So that was definitely a highlight, even though I had to switch out of my Mr. Dress Up threads because there was too many guys who take their coffee black, and since I took cream in my iced coffee, I had to do the switch.
Had
You
to.
do what you got to do when you're a digger. You got to just go on the team, and we'll talk more about the digger threads that I got later. Though, Luke, you were digging it up on the weekend. Tell us what was going on for you and Team Toba.
Yeah, so we were out in Quebec this weekend for a little series. We played the Quebec provincial team as well as Durham, which is a little subsection of Ontario there. Team Atlantic, which is like East Coast of Canada, and we also played oh yeah, it was just those three. Yeah. So we started it off, taking it off with a 6 a.m. flight on the Friday and got to the airport, landed the plane, straight from the plane to the rink, had a little 30-minute practice. Boys
Ooh,
are a little bit tired, but we got out there for the practice, got warm, got the hands warm. We're feeling good. Got into our first game against Durham, and Durham had driven 6 hours from Durham to Quebec, and there was a snowstorm, so only seven of their players could make it on time. So
sheesh.
they had the short roster, but they played like a team. They're a bunch of diggers, and they ended up beating us 6-0. So that one wasn't
Ooh,
too hot, but the boys responded the day after against Team Atlantic with a big 5-0 dub. Um, so,
nice.
so big response, big bounce back game for the boys. So that was a good feeling. And then going into Quebec, Quebec is kind of the powerhouse of the provinces out there in the sledge puck. So they kind of, we had quite a few chances, but their goalie's probably top three goalie in Canada.
Wow.
Gravel is his name.
Put some
But
respect on the Gravel name.
yeah, they blanked us 8-0.
Ooh,
So we're down 1-2. So and then we played in the bronze medal game the following day, a little rematch against Team Atlantic, and Paul the Wall, shout out to that guy. Played out of
the
his
wall.
mind. He was the wall. We were 1-1, ended up going into overtime. Played the whole
Overtime.
overtime. Yeah. Had a little 4-on-3 to start the overtime because we took a penalty with 10 seconds left. The refs mushed us with a soft call. So killed the penalty off in overtime, got to the shootout. Brendan Hurst, shout out to that guy. He's running mates with Mateo out in BC. He uh he got the call up to our team. He was looking for a squad to play for, so we gave him
It's
the
the big
invite and
call.
yeah, kind of full circle Todd as well. We played in Brendan's first tournament when he joined Sledge Puck back in 2019 or 2021, I believe, at Nationals, which was his first tournament, and he played with Team Manitoba. So for him to rejoin the squad was pretty cool, and ended up scoring a goal in the shootout, low glove, um, which is what coach had seen in the scouting report. And then shout out to Felice, who ended it in the shootout, another low glove shot, and
Back
sent the
to back
boys
low gloves. That was the
back
book.
to back. Yeah, that was the book, and just sent Toba into pandemonium. So overall, it was a pretty great tournament. Uh, got some good competition, got some things to work on, but it was a great weekend.
Always something to work on. Though Manitoba's winning bronze. That's a lot better than losing gold. We'll just put it at that.
Yeah, we're investing in bronze. Canada's still investing in silver.
That gold is still elusive for us. And hey, the world championship is coming. Maybe they can do it. I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows yet. That would
Nobody knows.
no. I'm gonna be tuning in because I think whether it's this provincial flavor that you kind of got me locked in, Luke, where I love the provincial kind of play down connections. Um, I haven't really tuned into that in kind of the U20 and all of that with the other puck. Because if I could say what I have seen a little bit is like there's always like Ontario red, Ontario white, and they kind of got the different colors because they have so much population there, and then they're usually versus like whether it's West white, West red, or you might actually get like a province like BC that's able to like field a whole team if memory serves me right with some of the provincial playdowns. But whether it's like provincial best on best or it's the world championship that kind of brings the guys who won't be playing for Lord Stanley's mug to competition. Um,
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things. The time of year, it's everybody's got something to play for, and whatever threads you're repping, it's yeah, it's just always moving. There's always something before kind
Yeah.
of the summer break and you get the ugly sticks out and you don't just do the simulator, but you get out to the actual grains. So
Yeah. Pretty special. And I think kind of with best on best coming back to the NHL, it's kind of given a few of the guys more of a reason to go to those world championships to kind of make a name for themselves on that kind of stage. And
yeah, that's a good
it's,
thought. Yeah,
mm,
like it kind of motivates a bit. Oh, not to kind of deviate from maybe our like little script, but did you see that Doug Armstrong stepped down?
yeah, he's
Oh
done.
man, I was just kind of like, wow, he's stepping down from the Blues and now he's stepping down from Canada. And in some of the commentary, he said like, "I did this. Somebody else should have a chance at doing this." And I
Yeah.
thought that was a little bit like that was a good way to play it. It's not that
Yeah.
like I failed or whatever. Like Canada would like to maybe write the script on him like that. He's like, no, I
Yeah.
tried
Mm.
this, and this is a really amazing experience, and it's time for somebody else to take over the reins. And in
Maybe
my
a bit of a
sorry, go ahead, Luke.
maybe a bit of a spicy tot, but if Sid the Kid doesn't make it to 2040, is he coming in the GM role?
He's not coming in hot at 40. Is he pulling the Gretz? Because that's what happened in 2002.
Yeah.
The great one. Oh man, that's a future time machine. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Nobody knows, but
Yeah, because I like that idea, Luke. Because in the same way, Gretzky was actually not partial in that 2002 construction of the roster as the GM. And that's something that I think is a little bit of something that I think Hockey Canada should probably consider the next time going around.
yeah.
Not saying that the choices were um like completely mismanaged. It's easier for Canada to look at all the people that didn't come now because of the missing the mark, the gold standard. Though I think it's something probably to consider. Hey, Luke, like pick somebody who's not partial to any team's colors and threads and let
Yeah.
them have a big say, or at least have them have the final say, so that you could have maybe some other people a part of the team with different teams.
Yeah.
Though having like Cooper and Armstrong and all the kind of blues and lightning kind of connections there, it was just hard not for me as like a fan of guys that I wanted to see who had worked really hard to be on that team. What do you think?
Yeah, you kind of saw it there with a few of the picks they made, having that lightning and blues flavor. So I think it'd be kind of refreshing to have somebody kind of without those personal biases making those decisions. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm right on board with that one.
it'll be interesting to see what comes around and who's kind of making the decisions and who gets named. I think they got to name that probably pretty quick after the NHL playoffs kind of get locked in. Usually,
Yeah,
there's a guy who gets named. So,
yeah. Especially
it's
with World Cup coming up in a couple years. So
yeah. That was also dropped within the last little bit after the Olympics too. Hey, it's
yeah,
something to look. Did you see the hosts?
yeah. Might have to make a road trip down to Alberta.
It's not that far for us in the 204 lands. You can get through Saskatchewan as long as a big
Mhm.
system doesn't come in. Um
Yeah,
and get over there to Alberta, the lone province state. It's not a lone star state, but it's as Texas as you could get.
yeah. Also, released that they're going. They said NHL rules, so I assume they're going 5-on-5 overtime as well
Oh,
for those semifinal and medal rounds.
yeah. That let them play as the game is meant to be played. If you
Yeah,
listen to the Tots time machine, um, can you imagine, Luke, a 9-on-9? There was in the original game they had 9-on-9, and I'm just like, nobody would have been able to breathe out there with a wooden puck flat disc.
no,
Anyway, it's not surprising that people got battered and bruised then. So keep it 5-on-5. What feels more uh, natural
yeah,
to the competition and the spacing, in my opinion. Though that's that's exciting. That's exciting with a lot of the puck to look forward to.
yeah,
I'm feeling excited. Though Luke, kind of to book end, you had kind of the weekend up until, and then you hopped on a flight to get back. Can we do a little bit of a transition while you were on your flight back? Um, I'll have you introduce that while I kind of collect my thoughts about the night prior to kind of set this up as a primer.
yeah. Uh, sorry.
No, that's
What was,
okay. No, that's okay. Uh, well, so going back from your sledge, we're going from sledge,
yeah,
and you win bronze. So do you
yeah,
hop on your flight right away? Sorry, we did this whole side quest going across the pond and doing the World Cup. If we go back to your sledge, you win the bronze. Do you have time to celebrate? Do you have to hop on the plane? What's going on?
yeah. So the boys won the bronze and straight to the airport from there. Um, Flight got delayed a bit as we reached the airport and was supposed to head out to the P-Dub game in Winnipeg that was happening later that evening. So
You had
um,
the tickets like me.
yeah, we had the tickets, ended up landing the plane. I think 6:30 Central Time. P-Dub game had started at 6.
Yeah,
So hop off the plane. We're buzzing. We're trying to get the wheelchairs up the ramp into the gate so we can
yeah,
grab them and go. Um, so got those. Ended up driving straight from the airport to the CLC. Got to the game for end of the second period and caught the rest of the game there. But what was your reaction to that game as somebody who was there for the
yeah,
entirety of
yeah.
it?
So you buzzing and coming right from the airport to CLC Canada Life Center and hopping into the PWHL game. I'm gonna back the truck up because I got to give a little bit more context here because it was kind of a whole weekend quest for me. Um, I had a fortunate opportunity on the Saturday night before the game. A good friend of mine and podcast vet, AJ, uh, and I got a chance to connect with his former running mate, pod mate, Alyssa Hood, also known as Lissa Hood, from Chell Chit Chat, and she was putting on a Recognizing Women in Sport event at Good Neighbor restaurant in oh, what would you call that area? Kind of be the West Broadway area. And so I felt really fortunate that I got the call to kind of connect because I know AJ has lots of connections within the tool for sports media kind of lands. And so I kind of got to be a wingman because I was not the one that had all the connections, though going in there and seeing him connect right off the bat with Liz, who um, a really cool story that he shared with me of how like they initially connected over Patrick Laine's flex on his stick. That's a little bit of a side quest, though. It was really really neat to kind of get to know all these people in the circle, and so I'm at this event, and so there's these panels that come up with Liz, who's hosting, and so the first panel has Annie Chipman, uh, daughter of Mr. True North, Mr. Mark Chipman. So his daughter, who is very involved with True North, was a part of the panel. Uh, we also had, I believe it's Danielle Bain. I hope I'm respecting the name. She took over a TSN reporter from Sarah Orleski, and might have to drop. She had an amazing story, Luke, about Miss Cheryl, like Mrs. the Cheryl Pounder, and kind of the inspo story for her going into hockey. Like I couldn't script that stuff that I was able to be a part of because Cheryl is like our icon
Yeah.
on the EA Sports Chell connection, being on the call with James Sabalski. Oh, Cheryl knows everything on that game, so she's the big inspo. Um, so that was the first panel. That was pretty awesome to kind of just take a seat and listen and with with just some pretty inspiring journey stories and origin stories of how they came to hockey. And um, Luke, you're still ripping and you're still repping with us with like Team Toba, though. For me, somebody who there comes a time for all of us where your organization and competition uh, becomes more of the side quest in your life. And then what do you do? And so hearing that from these women who were very inspiring with their stories was just, I wanted to still be connected with the game. I didn't want to leave the game, though I needed to do something different. Annie was talking about she was a goalie. She also went down to UND and she was connected there and she played. Um, Danielle with being connected too. And then the Cheryl Pounder rink story that I'll have to drop later. Um, it was the first panel was kind of got my mind going on the inspo stories, and even for me being a father with daughters and being so connected with the game, it was really neat to see. And so that was the first panel, and then there was kind of a little bit of a break and you could kind of mingle and connect, and so got to meet some of the other guys. Shout out to like Nick Lynham. He was a great guy. I was able to give him some Czech connections. I'll just leave it at that. It was really fun talking with him. And then the second panel was almost the capstone of the night. There was Kenzie Lalonde, who's play-by-play for the Ottawa Senators, and she shared a bit of her story coming up and loving hockey and what the change from her playing to her being connected in media uh, was for her, and a little bit of that connection. Um, and so while she was talking, and um, it's just something that I'm gonna kind of say it the way she said it. She just said, "I'd be really interested of somebody doing a psychology analysis on audiences who would be listening to a female play-by-play versus a male play-by-play, and what the results would be." And I had the book on me and I wrote it down. And so it was one of those things. I wrote it down. I'm like, if I get the chance to talk to her, I wonder what her mission would be for what a study would be like that. My minor is in psychology, so I love that kind of stuff. And so I actually had a chance to talk with her after. And it was one of those things where my buddy AJ went and spoke with her, and he was talking about like your voice as like an announcer. It's like it totally makes sense, and that's totally the fit. And then he was chatting. I kind of get in there on his wing. And then he was talking about, yeah, I came here with my buddy, and he's got daughters in the game, and what you're doing is really good. Oh, and here he is. And so I just pull right in, and I just pull out the book, and I just said, hey, like you said something that I really want to clarify. Um, what did you mean when you wanted a psychology study on the play-by-play announcing? And she's like, "Oh, you wrote it down?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And this is me being self-deprecating. I'm like, if I don't write it down, I'm probably gonna forget it. Got a bit of a goldfish memory sometimes. And so AJ laughs. He's got his next connection, and he leaves us to talk. And there was another connection from the panel that was with us as well. And so I was able to talk with her a little bit about psychology and doing maybe a study, and that was fun. Though Luke, like this was my selfish thing, and I had to do it. And I talked to you about it later. I said, "So, Kenzie, how is it working with Cheryl Pounder?"
Legend.
And Luke, can you guess what she said? How is it? Like, well, what do you think? She's the legend.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
doesn't get better than that.
And that's what she said. She said, it's like having an older sister. Like she feels like an older sister. And it's one of those things that kind of was like a little bit taken aback where it's like wherever you are in kind of the journey of sport or whether you're on a team or you've stepped away from it and you're doing something else, I think we all try to find those family connections in whatever we do. And it
Yeah,
was one of those things for me. I was just like, that's so cool that you would instantly connect it with like a familial bond, that she
yeah,
is like an older sister. And she said, yeah, like if I have a hard day at the rink or whatever, I just give her a call. And so uh I felt like it was like I'm a nobody. Like I'm not a 204 media guy. I kind of got to ride wingman with a buddy with some connections. Though I got to talk with Kenzie Lalonde, who is somebody like she's play by play for the Ottawa Senators. Like not a big deal. And part of one of the like the breaking ceiling uh broadcast teams was entirely women for an Ottawa broadcast. And
yeah.
so I felt very fortunate in that night with the connection that I had and kind of clarifying some of that stuff. And then I also said, okay, I asked you about Cheryl Pounder because I need to let you in on something. Like Cheryl might be your a big older sister. For us, she's a big inspo. Me and all the guys in my fantasy league, and we're also pretty big gamers. We play NHL, and she's on the call. I don't know if you knew she's on the color there. And anytime plays happen, we say Cheryl knows. She knew that was going to happen. Whether we win or lose, she always knows. And so it's become this thread within our fantasy league group chat. And she was like so taken aback. Like she's like, "Are you like Cheryl has become like a name like that's like circulated in your chat? That's amazing." And I said, and not only that, to take it one level further, if she knows everything, she's working on an AI system is our next hypothesis that she's working on an AI system. It's probably in the development phases. It's not ready. Cheryl only does the best. And so so I said, there's going to be like a hockey artificial intelligence named after Cheryl, like Cheryl AI, Cheryl artificial intelligence. And like it was one of those funny things where I kind of just got to be a bit of a comedian on behalf of our crew because
Yeah.
selfishly, like you have to, if you have that moment, connect about Cheryl because I already knew that there was that connection. So that was a story. And Luke, I
Mm.
sent this to you guys after, and can I get, like, just it doesn't have to be a hot tot, but just what's, like, a lukewarm, uh, hot thought about me talking about this person about, like, essentially all of our, like, chit chat in our fantasy league. Could you believe it?
Pretty special how like in a room with all those people, we're just people at the end of the day and just bantering about all the fun we get to have with the game we love. So pretty cool that Cheryl AI and all the Cheryl name dropping kind of full circle get your bingo cards out.
Yeah.
Made it into the chat there as well. So that's pretty special.
Yeah, and how could it not, you know? Like, that was an opportunity, like, had to capitalize on that, like, had to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was too fun, and I think you said something really good there, Luke. I wanna kinda emphasize is, like, at the end of the day, we're all just people, and I can be pretty self-deprecating, and yeah, I'm a teacher, and I kinda wore that badge when people are like, "Who are you and what do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a teacher, and I actually really love sports as a content piece to do writing and focus for inspiring, uh, my class to write something that they're passionate about and to have something that you can always come back to. And at the end of the day, we're all just people, really. And some of us might have more name recognition in some spaces than others, and some of us might be featured on a panel to be asked questions. But at the end of the day, we're all just people. And if we can just like be people and have conversations, you never know what kind of connection, and whether it's silly connection or humor connection, you'll find if you just start talking, right? And uh, going from that night, like that was pretty fun. Going to the
Yeah.
next day where I got to take my daughters out to the game, Luke, uh, the reaction to it, yeah, I'm gonna say this, and this is just like kind of a little bit of a side connection. Though I felt like this game, I needed to go with my daughters, and I also needed to go with kind of the inspo story for my daughters, and so actually invited one of their good friends who actually got them into hockey and her dad. And so it was one of those really special nights because me and her dad just got to be able to connect, and then we just got to kind of ride side by side with our daughters as they connected. And so it was one of those things you had to show up early. I said with my girls, I said, we got to go early. We got to go see warm up. I'm hoping that we can find the tunnel that the Victoire are coming out of. That was the team that one of my daughters is more connected to. And it turns out that I mixed up the tunnels, and so I mushed my own daughter. That's not surprising to Luke. He's just laughing. So, though, like Luke, on the ticket, it would have said Montreal Victoire at Ottawa Charge. Ottawa
Yeah.
was the home team. They had the bright threads.
Yeah.
Um, so based on that, I kind of guessed based on where the dressing rooms would be, where they would kind of come out. And then I went to the one spot, it wasn't there, I had to go all the way across. Turns out that whatever was there, that was the Ottawa coming out. But the girls still got to see them coming out of the tunnel, which is still pretty cool. Uh,
Yeah. That's special.
right near the tunnel with some friends, and for me to just be able to kind of ride more in the back seat of that. I've been to Canada Life Center. I've been to enough um, sporting events and certainly enough of the hockey stuff there. Though for them to really experience their um, their inspo stories, so to speak, and these women that are creating culture right now, um, that was really neat. And so we got to see that, and then we went up to our seats, and you could just feel the energy in the building, like building. And like kind of in music terms like a crescendo, and it was just growing and growing and growing, and then there's the ice step out, and it was the loudest that I've heard it for a while there. Um, yeah, we're not gonna talk about the threats behind me. It was just an amazing moment to celebrate growing the game. Um, Both the Saturday where I got to be a part of this celebrating women in sport event with Liz Hood, and I decided to wear green today because it's just kind of one of those colors for me. Um, right now it's March and we're anticipating spring and the growing season, though it's really in a lot of our talk, Luke. It's just feels like we're growing in a lot of different directions with the connections. And so for this weekend to kind of be a spotlight on the women's game, uh, I'm still working on a on a blog that's going to feature some purple sweet potato and some orange sweet potato tots in the ring.
Yeah.
Um, because I really love that the PWHL has like purple as its connect like as its color and its thread. Um, there's a lot of people that like to argue whether blue should be in control, red should be in control, and we're not going to be political here, though. Purple being the connector of those two colors, I don't think was just a happenstance. Um,
Yeah.
that's very intentional, and so this event that was put on and was put on like exquisitely well. Um, Luke, I want to bring you back in because I've been monologuing for too long. The third that you got to hop into, um, you went with somebody that would have some connection also, and there's some growth in the game too that we're looking forward to maybe connecting. I'm not going to blow anything, though. We are going to get some interviews coming up, which I'm very excited. So stay tuned. Though when there was the chorus, I'll call it, like the songs that they chose were not happenstance either. Like those
No.
were tracks that were there was the T Swift, like they got the Swifties going,
Yeah.
and I'm like I'm Roger Clemens misremembering right now. That's gonna new one on your bingo card. I'm misremembering. I don't remember that, but there was three big tracks that I was looking
Yeah.
at the
We
girl
had
hockey dad.
the Pink Pony Club was a hit.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah. That was a big one in the crowd there.
yeah, no, and I'm old. I'm the geezer here. So for me, I'm not so up to date on those tracks, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Though I just kind of got to be in the backseat and just experience it. And a couple of those songs kept going. Like for me, I was loving it for the experience because I haven't really had that hockey experience in a while in that space. Um, it's been a bit library-ish when it comes to
Yeah.
comes to the other teams there. Um, what did you feel like jumping back into this, Luke, when coming into the third, uh, the game was tied and it was like back and forth with like rushes and the tempo was really there.
Yeah. So just arriving there, I went to the game with my teammate and friend, Alyssa White, who plays for the women's national team for sledge hockey. So kind of cool having that connection. She's also been connected with Danielle, who you talked about in the past there, and Liz Hood as well. So another full circle tot. Um,
There we
so
go.
yeah. But yeah, just getting there at the second intermission. We got to our seats and the lights are all out in the intermission, and like the DJ is just bumping some tunes, and it just feels like a big celebration, which is kind of cool. Um, as well, I was kind of in your position as the back seat, so um,
Yeah.
this big celebration and just getting into the game, like the tempo was high, like um, lots of chances. The goalies were making big saves.
Goalies were dialed, eh?
Yeah, goalies were
Yeah.
locked in. Um, yeah, even just like the atmosphere in the building was just like nothing I had seen there in a while. CLC with the Jets is a little bit like a library, as you said. Um, but yeah, they really turned it up a notch for that one, and um, I think even had capacity past like the capacity of the seats in the building. There's some standing room stuff, so pretty cool to see the sellout and everybody showing up for the game. So uh, Winnipeg delivered, and who knows, maybe we'll have a P-Dub team coming up in the future.
Yeah, there was a chant up in the 300s. I don't know if you heard it, but like we won a team and
Yeah,
it was buzzing.
I
And
was like, that was some 2011 Jets fan vibes.
yeah, 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 big time, big time. Yeah, no, and for me, I would love that for the growth of the game. I'm sure the PWHL has their little map.
Yeah,
Um, it's one of those things I don't want to squash any growth of the game ideas because nobody knows 100%. Though the Takeover Tour stop in Winnipeg, hugely successful. Every media content piece that I've consumed, very successful. And I love the content focused on the 204 reps. Luke, I don't know if you saw it, but Katie Tabin, this is going back a couple pods ago with the Olympic rings. Did you see what her team did? Is they made team shirts for her.
oh yeah,
Made team
yeah,
shirts. They all walked in breakfast or at the morning
that was
and
unreal.
surprised her.
Yeah,
And she got such a loud cheer right off the bat getting introduced at CLC. And so I love to see that. And for me, I have more connection to that story because I got to do a bit more of a deep dive and write about it. And yeah, her story is so inspo. Like the path for her to be a rookie Olympian in her 30s and what she dug through, so to speak. And then there was on the other side for the Ottawa Charge, there was Jocelyn Larocque. Um, Talked with one of my buddies who actually like played with and against her from Kleefeld, and so that was pretty cool just to see the reception. I heard that she had like almost 250 plus people there from her connections at the game.
yeah,
Did you hear that,
big
Luke?
crowd. Yeah, big crowd for Jocelyn. So that's
Yeah,
pretty special to be able to play in front of after all these years.
yeah, yeah. To come back to your hometown and to play professional, like
Yeah,
that's full circle if I've ever seen. And for her, I saw her representing her minor team in her walk up. It was at
yeah,
Aces jersey, St. Anne Aces. So that was pretty cool for me being a country guy because yeah, I played against some of those teams on that side of the river, which was fun. Um yeah, where were you sitting again? What section?
we're in 103, so we're just like
103
on the corner. So
on the corner.
had,
Okay.
had a pretty good view of the OT winner there. So
Yeah, you would have been in the lower bowl. I was in the upper, like I was 303, something like that. So yeah, we would have been
yeah,
right in the same not the 49th parallel. That's south, but we were almost on the same parallel in another
yeah,
way. Um it was right in that end. We got to see that one. Though so you if you would have looked up, did you see the huge LaRock everybody with the banner up in the 300s? It
yeah,
was like, okay, I've made a couple of signs in my day and I got in some trouble. That will be a time machine travel for another time. Though the dedication that crew took into making those, like respect for repping LaRock. So
yeah.
that
Hats
was
off to them.
yeah. Yeah, and like that energy in there with the connections was another thing that was such an amazing part of a part of the whole spectacle that was the
Yeah,
Takeover Tour game.
even
Is
just being there for a period, there's just such a buzz,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
was just kind of built and built as the game went on. So
Was there anything that kind of like you either noticed about the game, Luke, or something that kind of like really struck you, or you were kind of that kind of you left CLC with after the game? I'm kind of just thinking of like it's kind of hard to put a bow on something like this because I feel like this is something that is just going to keep growing. Though this is like one stop in their
Yeah.
takeover tour. But for you, like maybe what's something that stands out for you?
I think just kind of after the fact and on the drive home was just kind of setting in that we kind of witnessed history with
Yeah.
just catching like a professional women's game in our city. Um, and to be able to have a few athletes in that game who kind of grew up uh, here and kind of worked their way up through and pioneered the way to eventually the PWHL and to the Olympics um, was pretty cool. So just kind of staying in the moment and just kind of realizing how special that night was.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna hop on that and keep this wagon going here because something for me that I said to Kenzie Lalonde and as I kind of reflected driving back with my daughters too. Um, I spoke to her and just um, kind of encouraging the work because whatever work that you're digging, you're doing, um, there's a lot of cultures at play right now, and we're not going to get into all the different dynamics, though we are here as a part of hockey culture, and we have our little voice here, and we have our connections, and I'm hoping to grow some of the more of the connections and culture that you're really a part of, Luke, and that's also going to be with like other connections too with the hockey culture. And it was something that I said with Kenzie Lalonde that I shared with you, and I think is just worth stating again is that like this took far too long, in my opinion. Um, in my 32 Tots time machine, the first female game was in Barrie in 1892, and they were playing in full get up, and they were braving the elements. And so, what does it take from 1892 to get to the 2000s, a change of millennium, to get to this? I don't know all the contributing factors. I would say I'm ignorant. I'm just starting kind of the journey of when you're ignorant, you don't know, and when you know, you do better. Though with the talk with Kenzie, I said, what you're doing and what you're building is, for me as a hockey girl dad, uh, very inspiring and something for the culture to really establish itself. And so I said, like, what you're doing, you have created a presence within the hockey culture. You have, with what she was speaking on the panel, is that the PWHL just put their games on YouTube. Like, what league just puts it out there um, without really getting anything in return? Because you look at the contracts that the leagues sign with networks, it's big dollars, right? And
Yeah.
for the PWHL to have a presence to start was to just broadcast in that medium. And so it starts with the presence. You have to be present and accessible. And that was a big thing that I kind of said you really spoke well to. And I said I think what you are actually more on track with now is there's kind of these three P's at play. You've gone from this presence within the hockey culture to now this is a real practice. And the PWHL tour that you're doing and all these stops that you're making, it's a part of the practice and the rinse and repeat of the culture to really get to what I believe. And I said, you're well on the way with this organization is permanence. That this is really going to have a permanent place in hockey culture. And it's not going to be where I think it was the professional women's federation association. I don't mean to disrespect the league, but it was just a very challenging process for the women to get their professional designation as athletes in hockey. And now that we're here, um, I have more questions than answers. That's my teacher hat showing. Though I really have seen this growth within this and following it as a hockey girl dad for me is really connected because when my daughters really loves the Victoire and actually really love the logo too. It's kind of in a shield and it's got the fleur de lis and um with the Victoire and the victory and also uh the Winnipeg Victorias, and there's a lot of connection with that namesake. It's I'm just really excited, Luke, for the future of this league and the growing of the game. Um and with the culture development, I think like hockey's just in a lot better spot than maybe it's ever been because of maybe some challenges with the culture. Like let's just call a spade a spade. Um, there's been court cases. There's been some challenges, and I think if we can in our little space here, uh, really talk about the positive presence of hockey and the positive practice of hockey culture, and really establish that permanence of the positivity of the game. Um, I think it needs to be inclusive in all these aspects. For us, we talk a lot about the National League, but now we got the Provincial Sledge League, and the tournaments and the Professional Women's Hockey League. Um, that was a monologue. So, Luke, you really spoke to that where it was a moment in it was a historical moment that we kind of got to be a part of, and that's not something that I think either of us really take for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said, partner. Um,
Well, let's take a little break and we'll be right back with all of the tots, the National League, the Professional Women's League, and yeah, stay tuned.